What's going on, guys? ChillisFM here, taking a look at the Open Great League team that got me to my season high elo of 3170. Very happy with this elo. Should put me right at the bottom of the leaderboard, maybe not quite on there, but regardless, I'm happy to be in the 3100s, pushing 3200s at this point. And is with a bit of a unique pick that you don't really see, despite it being ranked pretty high on PvPoke. Of course, I'm talking about Shadow Alolan Marowak. This thing is a force when it is aligned properly, right? The problem is there's a lot of things that it doesn't want to see, and so we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of it throughout this video, because I liked it, but also I think there might be some better substitutes for it, and we'll talk about it. Anyways, as my safe swap, I'm using Azumarill, and as my closer, I am using Serperior. Serperior, I think, is still really underrated. I mean, yes, we got the new flying steel Corviknight, right, which was supposed to put it into all the grasses, but it's not that common, right? And I guess Azumarill can try to help lure it out, and then Alolan Marowak can clean it up. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into some of these battles. Leave a like and a comment down below. Let's go. All right, into the first one, a beautiful lead. Serperior on the lead. You're going to be safe swapping out into Walrein, and this team is already core broken by the Alolan Marowak. And that's what I did notice, is when it worked really freaking well. We're going to be able to get the Shadow Bone off to grab a shield and then come in with a Azumarill. This Walrein's still out of play rough range, but it's probably bubble down range afterwards, and Azumarill can easily tank 2 Earthquakes since they are non-stab Earthquakes. So I'm going to be over farming here. I don't even care if I eat another one. I really don't. I'd rather have energy to be able to fight back against that Serperior when it comes back in, and they're going to need to throw a move before I make it to 2 probably anyways. But instead they come in with Pachirisu to catch this play rough, which is a really cool pick that you don't see very often. My switch clocks are not up. I do have a hard punish with my Serperior, so this game is pretty much just in wraps already. I'm going to throw that second player off, coming my Serperior. My opponent knows it's over, so that's GG's. Yeah, I mean, Alolan Marowak really just kind of triple core breaking there, because if Bone Clap would be super effective into the Pachirisu even, and we'd only be taking neutral. Alright, into the next one. Up against a fellow fire type, Talonflame. Now here's where it's awkward, right? Talonflame gets to its fly the same time this Alolan Marowak gets to its first Shadow Bone. So I could throw on CMP, but that's not really going to help. I connect with the Shadow Bone, and honestly, I was not expecting the no shield. I would have caught this on Azumarill if I really expected the no shield. So instead, I'm forced to go down 2 shields with my Alolan Marowak. Out comes a Diggersby, and in the back, it's a Morpeko. Now, this game is not over, right? We have Serperior, which is a really good Morpeko answer, and it's a good Diggersby answer. However, Morpeko, of course, can form change to its Dark type, and also boost its attack with this Electric type Aura Will, which makes this very uncomfortable. I could come in with my Alolan Marowak, but they're going to just throw immediately into my Alolan Marowak. I'm not going to get any of that energy off. I want that energy to go somewhere. So I do come in with a Serperior, but just the damage from that Aura Wheel is nuts. Put us into the red immediately. I am able to catch this Psychic Fangs here on my Alolan Marowak, and I'm hoping that I got the CMP tie as well. No, we did not, but they do stay in. They allow me to get this Bone Club off, which I did not expect. So maybe we have a tiny bit of play here, until they let it go, and then I realized that, hey, this Diggersby can just quick attack this down, have a Fire Punch ready, and save their shield so that they do not get Frenzy Planted. So I'm just going to go ahead and concede this match. So, I mean, I guess there, like, Alolan Marowak was good. Like, it was decent into all 3, really. Like, if you think about Diggersby, you're double resisting the Quake attacks. You do, of course, have to show up to Scorching Sands. But, like, wouldn't a Typhlosion just be better there? Wouldn't Typhlosion just strictly be better? Because you can Thunder Punch the Talonflame. Typhlosion wins the ones against Diggersby just because of pacing. Like, it just feels like, yes, the Alolan Marowak was fine. It was fine. But I think there's better options. Anyway, we're going to explore it a little bit more as we go. Dragonite lead, which is, when I built this team, I knew that would be a bit of a core breaker. I knew that'd be a bit of a core breaker. I don't allow them to catch, and I'm able to get some player offs on the Azumarill. I come back in with my Marowak, knowing that I would resist all the charge attacks. I see them swap, and I immediately throw the Shadow Bone, which is going to be double resistant to this Dunsparce. So, oops. They throw the Rock Slide, which actually allows me to get this Bone Club off. And Bone Club got a buff, and it's not bad. They actually decided to throw up a shield, and now I have a little bit of play. So I can come in now with my Serperior. We can tank these Rock Slides for days. I mean, they need like 3 plus a ton of rollouts to take out my Serperior. So I'm just going to throw this Frenzy Plant. Actually end up over-tapping there on accident. That's fine. We can eat this next Rock Slide. Ultimately, I want energy to be able to threaten the Dragonite when it comes in. So Frenzy Plant coming through. I'll see if the Dragonite comes in. They do, and they throw immediately, and I immediately shield, knowing that the Azumarill is my win con, and I'm just like, oh, shoot. Did I just throw away this game? I might have just thrown away this game. They come back in with their Azumarill. I am going to shield up the player off that would be doing the most damage of anything. I'm going to build up and throw my player off before they're at their next one. And they decide to let it go through, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe now I can make 2 Ice Beams, or just bubble this down into Aerial Ace range for my Serperior. Dragon Claw comes through, going to get this Ice Beam off immediately. We're not in Dragon Claw range just yet. They'll have to throw Superpower. And then I swap, and I'm like, wait, that's probably a misplay too. Let them Superpower so that this Aerial Ace does more, right? Can I make another Aerial Ace? We go down as we get it. They're going to be throwing energy here, and I'm just sure that this is the Superpower. I've thrown this game away completely. But no, they go for the Dragon Claw, and look at this. The Azumarill gets the bubble down. So they threw a little bit harder. I don't know. Regardless, GG's. Yeah, I mean, another one where like Marowak had 0 play there. Like it was Dragonite, Azumarill, and Dunsparce. Its best matchup is Azumarill because you resist the charge moves. And honestly, the zeros are pretty close there. But anyway, into the next one. Now here's where Marowak honestly shines, right? Because Talonflame doesn't have that great of a matchup against an Annihilate. Typhlosion definitely doesn't. But Shadow alone and Marowak's going to leave with a ton of HP if you want a 2-shield through. I end up going for the catch on my Azumarill, which works out perfectly fine for me. Just because if there is a poison type, I need to lure it out, whether that be Clodsire, even Toxapex. Alolan Marowak does have winning matchups against Toxapex, so that's one of the really nice ones that Talonflame definitely cannot handle. I don't know how the Typhlosion matchup is on that one, so like there is matchups where Marowak is better than the other fire types. I just don't know if those matchups are common enough to balance it with the bad matchups for the normal types out there. Like Azumarill, Talonflame wins the zeros. Well, against, I froze looking crazy. It wins the zeros against some IV spreads. I think most IV spreads. They try to catch there. They don't get it. And I believe Typhlosion wins the ones. Maybe also the zeros. And like those are super common. And then we have Drapion, which Typhlosion just 2-shields through a Drapion, even if they go straight Aqua Tail. Now, I will say Marowak's not so threatened by an Aqua Tail. We can tank one. And they do end up swapping out the catch on a Galarian Corsola. I really wish that I didn't allow that catch. I could have got a Shadow Bone and possibly grabbed a shield. But we do have our Serperior, which has a great matchup here. And it doesn't really want to see the Drapion anyways. I'm expecting a Azumarill in the back because of anytime you see Drapion, you should always expect a Azumarill. So I'm going to go ahead and get this Frenzy Plant off here. This won't KO, but it should put them into Aerial Ace range. And they're 1 Astonish away from their next move, so I need to throw this immediately. I'm going to go ahead and get this Aerial Ace off and take them out. Now they come back in with the Drapion. They're going to be forced to throw energy. Otherwise I make another Aerial Ace. And this won't quite KO, but it'll put him in like 1 bubble down range. So I go ahead and I aggressively swap in my Azumarill. They do shield up the Aerial Ace, but I know I can tank these crunches. And that's kind of my goal, right? They have a lot of energy. We have to absorb it on our Azumarill. And we're just praying they don't get the defense drop. If they get the defense drop, I don't know how I'm going to handle their Azumarill as well. Now they are going to be able to throw one more crunch even here, and I'm hoping I can pull down after they finally get the defense drop, and it's a Diggersby in the back. Did not expect Diggersby, and honestly, in the moment, I did not notice that I got that defense drop. So when they throw the Fire Punch here, I'm like, oh, Azumarill tanks this easy. Easy tank, and no. Yeah, we had a defense drop, so we don't. But it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine because we still have an Alolan Marowak, and like I said, we're double resisting the quick attacks. Fire Spins aren't doing nothing. Bone Club's certainly not doing nothing. I do have to properly shield up the Scorching Sands here. Is it going to be the Sands? Yes, it is. Sands is only one more quick attack expensive over Fire Punch, so I didn't expect them to bait. They do get the attack drop though, which forces me to build up to the back-to-backs, and here's the thing. I knew they were going to throw them because otherwise we have back-to-back Bone Clubs, which definitely takes out the Diggersby, and we win the game because we win CMP. So they had to throw energy there. I'm able to get the easy catch, and that's going to be a GG's. Well played to my opponent. All right, into the next one. Another Drapion lead. We'll see if this one actually has the Azumarill behind it. They're of course going to do 7 Poison Stings, and then they're going to throw. And this is where it's awkward to me, right? Because of if they go Aqua Tail, then they get that 8th Poison Sting. They're able to throw the 2nd Aqua Tail before we even get a Bone Club off. Granted, it doesn't KO, so I probably wouldn't shield it, but it is a bit awkward. They make a really nice catch on Azumarill, so I'm going to stay in, take some bubbles, and make sure that I have energy ready to go for that Drapion. I'm going to come in with the Serperior, which it seems like a silly play to let them get a lot of energy and then Ice Beam my Serperior, but I don't really expect them to shield this Azumarill, and their Drapion was always going to be able to clean up my Serperior regardless. So down goes the Azumarill. Out comes the Drapion. They're going to be forced to crunch here, otherwise I'm going to make the Aerial Ace. So they do dump a lot of energy there. I have a decision to make. I have energy. I could come in with my Alolan Marowak. I decided to come in with the Azumarill again. And I'm looking for the bubble down. And honestly, like, the bubbles just don't do as much as I thought they did. I played a bit more Azumarill recently because I did take it to my tournament in San Antonio. But I guess I just haven't played that matchup enough. Anyways, they swap out into Feraligatr. It's kind of funny actually though, because I've apparently never featured Shadow Alolan Marowak or Azumarill on this channel. I had to find new sprites for both of them. That was kind of a shock to me, considering how meta Azumarill is. I guess I just kind of had a vendetta for it for the longest time. Still don't love using it, but I mean, it's alright. Alright, I have all this energy. I come in with my Alolan Marowak. They have energy on their Drapion as well, and they got the CMP tie here as well. We lose CMP, so I know if they have double, they just win. And they have double, so they just win. That's going to be a GG's. Well played to my opponent. Yeah, so I don't know. Tough team. I'm surprised that they safe swapped Azumarill over Feraligatr. It feels like Feraligatr is the better safe swap. Anyways, into Azumarill lead, we're going to be swapping out into our own Azumarill. And yes, I know I'm using Azumarill on my own team. That's for the bulk and also just better matchups against things like Marowak, which Feraligatr just straight up loses in the 2s without even doing a ton of damage. So we wanted to be able to have a little bit of a better matchup there. Alright, so we do lure out a Serperior, which is easily going to take out my Azumarill. That's fine. I can come in and I can farm down with my Marowak. They're going to be forced to go for the Aerial Ace here. It's not a matchup where you want to go Frenzy Plant. Right? No, never mind. Frenzy's only single resisted. I thought it was double resisted for some reason. Come back in with the Azumarill in the back. Going to be a Shadow Gallade. One of my favorite picks, man. I haven't ran it at all this season, but I've had some fun with it in the past. And I know it's 4 to every leaf. Yes, 4 to every leaf blade and 5 to every close combat. So if they want to outpace my Serperior, since I got a couple Vine Whips a head start, they're going to need to double bait. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. If you double bait, I can do the easiest catch of my life. I'm at the Aerial Ace right now. If I shield this, I just catch the close combat and I win the game. Easy. Man, my opponent is smart though. My opponent is smart, chat. I'm saying chat like I'm streaming. I don't know. I'm about to stream. I'm going live after this video. So we get the defense drop and I'm hoping that that's enough. Since they let me get to this next Shadow Bone, is it enough to take out the Azumarill? No, it's not. Puts him deep into the red. I know that Gallade has a move, so really my only hope now is that Serperior is bulky enough to tank a close combat. It's a stab close combat from a Shadow Gallade, but like Bastiodon technically tanks it, right, from full HP, so maybe Serperior from 3/4 HP can, and no. That's why I love Gallade, personally, you know. Alright, we got another Shadow Annihilate lead. They're going to safe swap out into Drapion. And now I get to illustrate why I think it's not so bad to tank an Aqua Tail here. Yes, it puts us into the yellow, but they're not poison stinging me down anytime. And that Annihilate is never going to counter me down either. So I'm going to go ahead and just tank the non-stab Aqua Tail versus having to tank a stab Rage Fist later on, right? Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing low. I'm going to come in with the Azumarill knowing I can resist all of its energy now. And this time I should be able to actually get the bubble down. They might be able to get to another crunch and an Aqua Tail. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That was DRE, but no, it'd be 4. Okay. Yeah, not DRE. They just get it. They just get it. It would have been DRE if they went for the crunch. Anyways, Azumarill does not come in because there's not an Azumarill. It's going to be a Dunsparce. And at this point, we're chilling, right? We have Serperior to be able to put on this Dunsparce. This Dunsparce is taking a ton of damage from the Azumarill since we got that nice juicy bubble down. And look at this, Azumarill not done yet. Able to get this Ice Beam. Oh my gosh, it says Ancient Power over there. Well, ignore the fact that it says my Azumarill has Ancient Power. It's definitely Ice Beam. I think everyone knows that though. I'm not going to re-record. How do I make it 15 minutes into a video? Probably 16 minutes into a video and notice it now. That's all right. Everybody knows it's Ice Beam, right? I don't know. I'll get like 5 comments telling me that I have Ancient Power there. I guess it's good for the algorithm, right? Maybe it's on purpose. We'll go with that. Anyways, yes, I do like this team, but I just think Typhlosion, if you're going to run a fire type that's not a flyer like Talonflame, which Talonflame would not work as well for this team, I think Typhlosion on this team, it worked for me. I climbed to my season high, but there's just so many bad matchups that I ran into for my Alolan Marowak, and when it put in work, it put in work. Like it did the job. It did the job, and it won me games. Run Typhlosion. I'm just leaving it there. All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my channel members for your support. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below. And until next time, this is ChillisFM reminding you to always keep pushing forward.